Is ingeskakel op Groot Plaas en vanoggend ons gas saam met ons Mbongiseni Shongwe, sy's van die Wildlands projek en hy is van die Wildlands program. Ons gesels 'n bietjie oor nasionale waterweek wat tans in Suid-Afrika gevoer word en die belangrikheid van ons watersekerheid. Mbongiseni, good morning and welcome to Groot Plaas.
Good morning, Ruth. How are you?
Good, thank you so much. Listen, firstly, the purpose of National Water Week, why is it in South Africa and why is it so crucial that we have a Water Week?
We find this as a crucial fact because South Africa is, if you look on the global landscape as a whole, we are one of the countries which receive very less rainfall in terms of, if you compare it to countries like in Africa, up in Congo and so on, we receive quite a very low amount of rainfall compared to those countries, of which we are a country which has about 22 strategic water source areas, and those alone cover at least about 10% of the landscape, of which you get a picture of the fact that we have a very low amount of water that we generate within the country, and given the less amount of rain we get in the year, also that contributes a lot.
So even though we saw a lot of rain in the past year, in the past season, are we still considered a water scarce country?
Yes, we are. If you look at the fact that, as I mentioned, we only have 22 strategic water source areas, and those alone are not enough to actually cover the whole country. And when I say they're not enough, if they're not very well preserved in a way, it means that we end up running short of water.
So this National Water Week being held at the moment, who's coordinating this initiative?
It's a South African thing that's being coordinated by the Department of Water and Sanitation, if I believe, and we are taking part of it as Wild Trust to try and celebrate it through the the Upper Utugela catchment.
So is there a specific theme to World Water Day 2026?
Yes, this year's theme is where water flows, equality grows.
So with that slogan, where water flows, equality grows, can you maybe expand on that? What is your interpretation of the meaning?
So in this aspect, if you take a look at our Upper Utugela Water Fund catchment for this area, it focuses mainly on the rural communities like the Upper Utugela, which is predominantly affecting women and girls who bear the burden of collecting water in rivers. And when these rivers run low or the water quality deteriorates, then it means the distance that they have walked to get to these water areas then is actually wasted, and also lose time to do other actually beneficial stuff like participating in economic benefits and also doing educational work. So if we restore these reliable clean water flows within the area, then it helps in creating job opportunities for these people, and also at the same time it assists in terms of sharing in terms of community members being aligned with what's going on the ground. In this aspect, we also do what you call the Heading for Health program, which helps the communities to manage their rains and actually making sure that they have a good water quality. Well, so water security and gender equality are not separate issues in a way. They actually are the same issue.
So when we think about water security, the Upper Utugela catchment is extremely important for South Africa. Why is this?
So the Upper Utugela as a whole, out of the 22, contributes at least about 36% of it's on the scale of all the 22 strategic water source areas, and this contributes directly to the Tugela Var stream, which most of the viewers will know that it contributes to the Gauteng, of which that on its own, without the Upper Tugela catchment being in a position where it's able to supply these areas in terms of being very well conserved and so on, it won't be able to actually give this water. And an interesting fact is the fact that even though it's considered a strategic water source area, it's actually an emergency reserve for Gauteng. So when water runs really low in Gauteng, all the water that comes from Woodstock Dam and via Sterkfontein Dam, then almost a quarter of that has to be moved through pipes that go straight to Gauteng, supplying the water to Gauteng as a whole.
Mbongiseni, we'll be back with you in a second. Dis ons gas vandag op Groot Plaas. Ons gesels 'n bietjie oor 'n nasionale waterweek wat tans in Suid-Afrika gevier word. Tyd nou eers vir die Groot Plaas kalender. Welkom terug hier op Groot Plaas. Ons gas saam met ons vanoggend Mbongiseni Shongwe van die Wildlands program om te gesels oor Nasionale Waterweek wat in Suid-Afrika gevier word. So just before the break we spoke about the Upper Utukela water system. Now what major challenges are threatening this catchment at the moment?
So there's three main challenges that the catchment faces. Firstly, it's poor range and management, which entails with improper grazing management in the area, and then and a spread of invasive alien plants in the area, which in turn also includes the likes of black wattle being the most species that is in the area. And then the other thing is that most of the landscape is between Royal Natal National Park and also Cathedral Peak. It's mostly not protected, of which that also on its own plays a huge role in not having the full protection of the landscape in terms of protecting the catchment.
So when you have these invasive alien plants in the area, what kind of role do they play in the water degradation?
Invasive plants on their own, so they absorb quite a huge amount of water. To be quite specific, with black wattle on its own, it's actually predicted to take at least a third of the water within an area, which in a way does affect the stream flow. It reduces the stream flow in terms of on the streams where it will be found, and also this on its own does also lead to a lot of areas being mostly left without grasses, of which this area is a grassland, of which if there's no grass, then it means there's a huge runoff, which then leads to sediment accumulation and also siltation.
So there's also what is the Upper Utukela Water Fund project, and who's the major role players in this initiative?
So the Upper Utukela Water Fund is an initiative that was started by Wild Trust in partnership with the Nature Conservancy from 2023. The research of a feasibility, which started, and then last year it was officially launched, holding one of the books. I don't know if it's visible, but it was launched last year, and Wild Trust are the custodians at the moment. But so this mainly looks into working with aims to in fact to improve the range of management, whilst also doing a proper way of clearing the early invasives that are actually causing what you call a reduced stream flow of water that we have been talking about at the beginning of this show.
So what are nature-based solutions in this project?
So nature-based solutions will include rangeland management, where the communities that we work within, which is Amazizi and Amangwane, have to work on implementing proper rangeland management through rotational grazing and so on. Then also this includes clearing the invasive alien species within the catchment area. And the other part in terms of nature-based solutions is to work with the community to introduce a community-owned nature reserve, which all of these three initiatives included, they contribute massively to the conservation of water in the area.
So financial returns, what kind of financial returns are expected from investing in this project?
So with the business case launch, it talks about financial returns of about 164 million and about in terms of contributing directly to the communities that we work within.
So if we look at the type of investment that's needed over the next 30-year period for this project, is there a figure in mind?
Sorry, I think I made a mistake there. That's actually the amount of money that's needed for 30 years period, which is 164 million, which in a way unlocks at least about 380 million in benefits for the communities we work within.
So if we think about the UTWF and the benefits that are expected for the local communities, what would that be?
So there's the immediate direct benefits, which includes job creation within the area, and also in terms of the GRAS program or the Head for Health program, the rangeland management program, it assists the communities into getting direct access to market access in terms of selling their livestock in auctions. And then there's the long-term benefit for the community through having a community-owned area where they can have their own tourism facilities, and then also through the rangeland stewardship agreement, which entails the rangeland management. It gives them a long-term carbon credit, which they can end up being their own custodians and actually earning for the actions that they do on the ground.
Mbongiseni, thank you so much for your time this morning. Mbongiseni Shongwe van die Wildlands program. Dis al wat vir ons tyd het op Groot Plaas vanoggend. Ons hoop jy het dit geniet en ons is môreoggend weer terug saam met jou.